Welcome back to the Everyday Faith Podcast from Eastside with today's faith-rooted principle. Hey there, welcome back. I'm Isaac Johnson. Today is July the 16th. I hope that you're having a fantastic day today, or will have a fantastic day, whatever time you're listening to this. But our rooted principle for the day is this: a surrendered and empowered life can shake the world. A surrendered and empowered life can shake the world. Are you willing to be that fully surrendered person for God? Are you willing to be fully surrendered for Him to use you however? You know, we hear these verses many times, and we probably know them by heart. Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. But do we really mean it? Do we really think about what it means to present our bodies a living sacrifice? The Bible says there in Romans 12, 1 and 2, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, or I beg you, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Being fully surrendered, what does that look like? When D.L. Moody was just starting in the ministry, he heard a preacher say, the world has yet to see what God can do with a man fully surrendered to Him. What a statement. The world has yet to see what God can do with a man fully surrendered to Him. Moody that night said, by God's grace, I'll be that man. And it said of Moody that he shook 2 continents for God, and over 1 million souls came to know Christ under his preaching ministry. Moody had little formal education. He was not a polished speaker, but God used him greatly. And it was at his memorial service some years later that evangelist R.A. Torrey, who had been one of his closest friends, said the first thing that accounts for God using D.L. Moody so mightily was that he was a fully surrendered man. Every ounce of that 280-pound body of his belonged to God. Everything he was and everything that he had belonged wholly to God. What a statement for someone to make about D.L. Moody. And of course, that was R.A. Torrey that made that. But it was, I believe it was probably truth that Moody was wholly surrendered to God. When we surrender our purpose and our will and allow God to use us as He sees fit, then amazing things will happen. You know, the world is shaken not by the wise, not by the mighty, not by the intelligent, or not by the skilled, but by those who have yielded to God. You know what Paul said there in Romans? He said it's our reasonable service. It's reasonable for us to surrender our lives, but many today seem to think that it's too much to ask. And instead of surrendering, they cling tightly to their own desires, their own interest. How much better is it for us to just see the world in need around us and surrender to God of how He wants to lead our path, how He wants to lead us, fully surrender to God. A surrendered and empowered life can shake the world. You know what? I think about this personally. I want to make a difference, and I believe it starts with this thing of surrender. A surrendered and empowered life can shake the world. Are we willing to be fully surrendered to God? Thanks for joining us for today's Rooted Principle right here on the Everyday Faith Podcast. If today's conversation has encouraged you, be sure to share it with someone who might need it, and don't forget to follow and subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time right here on the Everyday Faith Podcast.